A recent heartbreaking event in Moscow's airport left many stunned and in absolute shock and awe. A man, after deplaning, grabbed a child. And what eventually ensued was one of the most unbelievable events ever caught on camera. We cannot show you what happened because what happened was absolutely too much for TV, much less the internet, but it's out there. We're going to break down what happened and give you the story and the background to what took place, but we just simply cannot, in all good conscience, show you what happened. We'll tell you, we'll lead you up to the moment that it took place, but no further. Again, the video is out there. Viewer discretion is advised. Now, at this moment, he grabs the child. Mind you, this is not his child. He was simply on an airplane going to Russia, and the mother and that child was on the same plane that he was on. Now, what he did was pick up the child, lift him above his head, and slammed him to the floor. You heard me right. He did indeed pick up a toddler and plant him into the floor head first. The child is now in critical condition in a coma with severe head and brain trauma. Now, the man was subsequently arrested a few minutes later, but not before he stood up after doing the act, put his hands out to his side and act like, well, I didn't do nothing. I didn't, what are you looking at me for? Then sat on the ground as though he was driving a fake car, scooted a little bit, stood up, and then walked off. The police later reprimanded him, grabbed him, took him to the interrogation room, and afterwards he said, "Oh, I was just trying to unalive the child. I'm just also high." So he admitted that he was on some sort of drug. What type of drug? They said what they did find was some traces of marijuana in his system. Not quite sure marijuana drives you to do that. To each his own. However, in Russia, that is a controlled substance that's not allowed. He's also facing, of course, child endangerment, and we don't know exactly what the outcome will be in terms of the law. Right now, he's still under arrest, and there has been no court cases put forward as to what the end is going to be. The mother and the child were on board the same plane that he was on, like I said, and apparently there might have been some altercation that's not mentioned. But the only reason I could see him tracking this child to do what he did was if something took place on the plane that he did not like. And him being on drugs might have been an actual precursor to everything going off the rails. Once he was arrested, he did not have a single slight bit of remorse for what he did. In fact, he acted so nonchalantly, people were wondering what was wrong with him. Many are calling for the maximum penalty for this, and what that might be is unknown. It could be death, it could be just a life in prison. I'm not sure what the Russian laws and rules are when it comes to child endangerment. I heard that they're not too lenient on people like that anyway. What we do know is that this is a clear example of how to not take care of your child. I'm just going to be frank. The child should not be standing by himself alone, much less have a stranger hovering around him without parents being aware. The mother either had stepped away for a minute, but that momentary lapse in judgment to allow her child to be by himself allowed this crazy person to do what he did to him. Now, this is a lesson to parents. If you are in an airport, public arena, public space, please, for all that is holy, do not leave your child unattended. Do not go anywhere that was not without arm reach that you can grab, touch, hold on to your child. Please do not. These is not the same worlds we grew up in. We may have grown up where you can come home when the lights go out on the street. You could have left it all the time. That's what you could have done back in the day. You could. You could have. Not now. It is not the same world. Beforehand, back in our day in the 90s, 80s, you go play on the street, mom knew where you were, the neighbors took care of you. We're not in the same world. Even back then, though, people took precautions when they're in a public area. In this instant, this could have been saved had the parents kept a closer eye on their child. Even after the event, people ran over, but they didn't even look like they were the parents. The person that first ran over was a man. The man came over and looked at the child and was really shocked that something took place and didn't do anything to the man in the white coat, just stood there. Then picked up the child and looked like he was hesitantly looking for the mother, almost as though she was not even remotely there. He took the child to the back and subsequently taken to the hospital. This could have been avoided. This could have been a disaster averted, but it wasn't. People like this do exist in the world. And it is up to us as parents to do our dead level best to never have those monsters interfere with our children. This instance, as sad as it is, might be one of many that takes place. Many parents don't seem to see the need to have their child nearby them, don't see the need to keep them within their arm's reach, don't see the need to even monitor what they're doing. You've even heard stories of children walking the streets on freeways being left unattended. I'm talking about 2 and 3 years old. How does that happen? Well, some parents are just negligent. Some take that their priorities are not their children. Please, 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 please. Our priority as parents, protecting the young ones. We brought this story to you for two reasons. It happened, and people need to be aware. But secondarily, to make you completely aware of the dangers of not doing what the mother was supposed to do. If you care about your child, if you have people that have children, you care about what happens to them, please alert them to this. Because there are people out there that mean to cause your child harm. And if you give them the opportunity, they're going to take it.